It is Tuesday, my friends, and from now on this means it's Trick Tuesday. What's up, my friends and kiteboarders? Today we talk about transitions, and not your normal boring jump transition. We're talking about a very cool one. It's called the Frontroll Transition with a Mid Air Downloop. Because if you want to upgrade your transitions in a very cool way, which feels amazing and just looks amazing from the beach, this trick is the one. It just feels so amazing getting ripped out of your front wall with a down loop, and it's just awesome to learn this trick. What should you already can do if you want to attempt this front wall down loop transition? Actually, this trick isn't so hard to perform, so we don't have to do a lot of things beforehand, but it would be awesome if you can do 2 tricks beforehand. The first one is a normal front wall, or even better, a front wall to toe side, or even better, a front wall transition. This is actually a necessary step for this transition, because our trick we're talking about today just builds up from this normal front wall transition or this normal front wall to toe side, so it would be awesome if you can do this before. And the second one is a standard jibe to toe side or a jibe from toe side to heel side with a down loop in it. Because it's just important to get the feeling right of throwing down loops in the air, to know how down loops works, and to just get the feeling of how a down loop works. It's just, it sounds logical, and it is. Yeah, and that's it. If you can do these 2 things, it's time to start the action, and let's dive in. So, for this front wall transition, you want to ride with moderate speed, not too fast, because we just don't want to gain a lot of height. Just because when you're throwing a down loop in bigger heights, it probably needs a heli loop afterwards to slow you down and make you a soft landing, and that's not what we want with this trick. We just want a basic front wall in about 1 or 2 meters of height. The feeling should be a little bit like you're floating in the air, like it's in the back wall hand drag transition or with a dark slide. It's just nearly the same feeling. You just want to glide over the water. So, to achieve this, you have to steer your kite slowly to 12 and initiate a jump which will get you out of the water. And as soon as you're up in the air, you start looking over your back shoulder to start rotating, and now comes the slightly scary part. As soon as you're halfway through your rotation, you need to steer as hard as you can with your front hand to initiate the down loop, or what you ever want to call it today. Some people call it Contraloop, I call it down loop. It doesn't matter, it's just a loop in your riding direction, so you pull it with your front hand. At this moment, you want to have the bar sheeted in as much as possible and steer as hard as possible to make the loop very small, because a small loop just means less power and a big loop means a lot of power. And for this transition, we just want a small loop which doesn't generate a lot of power because we don't want to get yanked behind the kite. We just want a floaty and like flowing transition out of your front wall. So keep in mind, sheet your bar all the way in, steer as hard as you can, and you're good to go. And don't worry if you're not experienced in pulling kite loops or down loops mid-air, because we are pulling this loop very late in our trick. It's like the loop doesn't have a lot of power, the kite already lost a lot of its power during this trick, and when you're pulling the down loop at the right moment, halfway through your rotation, the loop will generate less power and just pulls you out of your rotation and get a really soft and floaty landing. And once the loop pulls you out of your rotation and you've completed a full front wall, you have to focus on your landing spot and try to land on a downwind course. In this trick, it doesn't matter if you land on a heel side or toe side position. It's just important that you land on a downwind course. And at this point, you're losing a lot of line tension because you're almost riding fully downwind. So it's really important to get the edge right back in after you land it, especially when you're landing on a toe side position, because it's quite hard to get the edge back in when you're riding toe side. But if you're losing too much line tension, you will just sink like the Titanic down in the water, and you really don't want that. So as soon as you land it, keep in mind, get your edge back right in and you're good to go. So now you got all the information you need to pull massive front roll transitions with a mid-air down loop at your local spot. So try it out, practice for yourself, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe this video, and if you've got any further questions, please let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching and see you next video.